the ECU women's basketball team red hot, and we will talk to their head coach now, who joins us on the Turner Home Team live line. If you're looking to sell your house fast without making any repairs, the Turner Home Team is a local home buying company. They buy houses as is. Justin and his team can provide you with a fast cash offer for your house today. Give them a call, 525-4780. Kim McNeill joins us on the Turner Home Team live line. Coach, appreciate your time. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing really good, at least on the court. Congratulations to the success you've had thus far. Although I always hear with teams and coaches, you don't want to peak too early. You want to be playing your best ball in February and in March. But you'll take a 4-game winning streak, right?
I will. I definitely will. I'm excited about where we are right now. We still have some things that we definitely got to get better at before we go into conference tournament play. But yeah, I'm glad to see, we're continuing to get better. We're growing. We got UAB on Saturday, and from watching that game when we played them on December 30th, we definitely made some strides.
A 14-6 record, a stellar 6-1 record in league play, and I guess you could say you didn't play your best game the other night in the win at UTSA, and it's good to learn from a close win than a loss, right? You can still kind of show your team some things you did wrong and get better, and it's better to do that after a W, I would assume.
It is, because it's hard winning on the road, especially in this conference. There's no team that I can look at on our schedule and it's a guaranteed win. You got to bring it every single night, and definitely when you go out on the road, you got to be even better. But UT San Antonio is a really good team. They, up to that point they had only had one loss, and I don't think they had lost at home in over 2 seasons. So we knew going in it was going to be a challenge. They were leading the league in points allowed, and we're leading the league in the points made. So it was going to be a battle of which was the offense was going to be better, was the defense going to be better, and we struggled a little bit offensively, and credit to them. They had a good game plan to take the pain away from us. But we won the game on what's our calling card, and that's defense. We got it done on the defensive end of the floor. Yeah,
and a 7-point win against UTSA. The 3 previous wins, double-digit victories, 16 against Temple, 31 over Tulsa, and then Wichita on the road, 27-point victory. So not just wins, but convincing wins for this team. What's been going right for you, and who's been playing well during this stretch?
I just think just the chemistry. When you have a lot of new players on the floor, it definitely takes time for the chemistry. I think also trust. When you got a lot of kids out there that have never played in your program before and played in other programs, it takes time for them to trust you and trust what you're selling to them that will allow us to win games. And, we just got a veteran group out there starting for us. But we got babies coming off the bench that are giving us some good minutes. So, I just think it was just going to take some time. I knew we would probably be a better offensive team than what we've been in the past. Our guards can hit some shots, but, I think it took us a little bit of time to get it going defensively, which is really, my calling card. And I think everybody's given all the glory and all the, the hype to our offense because we are putting up a lot of points. But, we're going to always hang our hat on defense, Cliff. That's just who I am.
I was going to bring that up. Your old neighbor, Mac McCarthy, said you throw stuff out there defensively that even he doesn't understand and hasn't seen. And he was in coaching for a long time. But you mentioned it. In this win streak, 83 points, 79, 81, and then 65 against UTSA. So the offensive numbers are pretty glaring, Coach, because we haven't seen a lot of those numbers, during your time here.
Yeah, I got a lot more playmakers on the floor. Last year, Maya Joyner was really our offensive threat out there, and she was getting double and triple team, and we kind of just stood around and watched. Whereas, this year there's all 3 of my guards, actually all 5 of my starters can shoot the 3. So we gained that respect, which opens up the paint a little bit more for us to be able to get the ball inside and for us to get downhill. I got guards that can get downhill and create for themselves and create for others. So, and I definitely think that the big key to it is just having a veteran point guard. Kennedy Fauntleroy is playing really well right now, and she's just a floor general out there who can score for herself, but also can get her teammates involved. And when you got a point guard that can do those type of things, it makes your life a little bit easier as the coach.
You don't want to make excuses, but injuries have been a big part of the last couple of years, unfortunately, for your teams as well. How is this team doing health-wise as we speak?
Kind of been in and out, little bang things here and there. Anjanae, obviously, she didn't play against UAB at home because she got hurt right when we got back from Christmas, so she missed a couple of games. We've had kids, being sick, things of that nature. But all in all, I think we've been pretty healthy, a lot more healthier than we have been in the last 2 years. So we'll knock on wood and hopefully we can stay healthy because, when it comes down to winning, it's more than just about talent. It's about being healthy, too, and it's about who's available to you. And the year that we won the championship, we stayed very, very healthy. I don't think we had any kids to miss any games. So you obviously need that to fall, on your side as well.
There was a bit of a schedule change for the UAB game coming up in Birmingham on Saturday. Has the impending weather affected things at all, or is it still business as usual for your team?
No, definitely business as usual. Our goal right now, we're just trying to get better every single day. Every practice, every quarter, every half, every game. That's where we are right now because, I'm excited about, where we are and how we're starting, but there's a lot more basketball left to play, and I want Pirate Nation to know that. We're not even halfway through conference play, and we haven't played, the Rice, the South Floridas, so we still got some tough competition coming up that we have to play in conference. So, we're just trying to stay really even keel, not trying to get too high, not trying to get too low, just business and just trying to get better every single practice, every single game.
We wanted to get you in studio, but Cole said you would be wrapping up practice around this time, and I know you coaches love practice. How about the players? Have you gotten them to love practice, Coach? What do their faces look like when they show up to practice every day?
You got to trick these kids. You got to play games with them. You got to trick them. So I'm learning this team. This team is very different than any team I've ever had. They're very quiet. Got a lot of introverts on the team. And you know me. I'm high energy, passionate. I'm up in your face. The whole time. And I've changed the way I've coached a little bit. You'll find this funny clip, but I meditate before every game, just to calm me down and to envision myself being extremely positive, but obviously being motivating and being direct because this team can't take the real me, and I've also kind of tweaked practice a little bit, 2-day prep, like today was the first day prep. We go an hour and a half, and tomorrow we'll go about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes because they lose focus. They got so much other things going on.
Yeah. It's
just right to the meat potatoes, very intense for an hour and a half, hour and 20, and then we get out of there.
Yeah, and I mean, things are different now. It reminds me of a couple of comments I've seen from men's coaches here just today. Bob Hurley says after another loss, I just don't know about this team. I can't connect with this team. And then Greg McDermott said it kind of tongue in cheek, but he said, if I make it through this year, it'll be a miracle. And he said that after a last second win. So I think he was half joking, but it is different today, Coach. How are you handling this? Might be more of an off-season question, I guess, but now that you're in season, how are you handling this new world of college athletics and college basketball?
No, I feel the same way as those two coaches do. I'm about to lose my mind and want to pull my hair out and just really, it's just a different time in college athletics. And, I am stubborn. I would tell you that I'm very stubborn. I'm very old school, with the way I coach, but I wouldn't say I've changed. I've tweaked. I like to use the word tweak because tweak is not completely changing. At the end of the day, I want to be me and I want to go down, coaching the way I want to coach. So I'm going to always challenge them. I'm probably more, I get at them more in practice and I'm a little bit more, I wouldn't say laid back, but less in your face in games because they can't take it. So I figured this team out and, I'm trying to, just be more encouraging and being more motivating to them.
Well, it's working. Jackson, you got a question?
Yeah, I mean, Coach, with the UTSA game, just that first quarter specifically, I mean, 14%, and then to turn it around and completely shut down UTSA in the second quarter, and just seeing the girls buy into the system just about every game, no matter what the changes are, how does that make you feel as a coach to know that the players are willing to listen, they are willing to buy into what you're putting out there?
Yeah, it did start off that way. I can tell you guys that. It was, when you got kids out there that have played, in multiple systems, they question you a lot, because they've been in a lot of different philosophies. So I think that's been the really cool thing to watch over these last couple of weeks is seeing that process, seeing them starting to believe, seeing the success in what we're trying to do, because when you come in, you don't believe it, but then once you start seeing success in it, then you start to see them believe and starting to do the things you ask them to do. And, credit to UT San Antonio. They did a really good job of taking the pain away. I mean, you watch the Temple game, most of the things we did came from going downhill, and it opened up the three-point shooting. And they took that away from us early, and I thought we jacked too many threes, so it was just about, in the second quarter and in halftime making the adjustment of getting the ball right to left, making them defend on both sides of the floor, and running our stuff. Like, I think we just got the ball stuck on one side of the floor, and we weren't moving it. So once we started moving the ball a little bit left to right, we picked the press up a little bit, turned them over. I thought we got a little bit more comfortable on the offensive end of the floor.
Kim McNeill joining us. Coach, we talked about it last hour with ECU baseball having Bryant Packard, Thomas Francisco, Jake Agnos, former players, part of the staff. And I love seeing Sania Johnson still in the program. She's probably top 10 all-time women's players for me. Personally, that championship run, she almost became the face doing interviews after those games, I remember. But it's always great to have a former player still around. So how's she doing in her role? And how nice is it to have somebody stay around like that?
Yeah, not only do we have Sania, we have Morgan Mosley, too. So
awesome.
Morgan Mosley was on that championship team, too, and she, sometimes she got overlooked. She was like the glue kid that did all the little things, taking charges, things of that nature. But I love it. Like, I do. Like, I will always try my best to keep a former player on my staff because they know you better than anybody, and they've been on both sides of it, as a player and now as a staff. And Morgan and Sania did something that you're not going to see for probably hardly see anymore, and that's stay at one school for 5 years. So they both truly bleed purple and gold. Like, they love ECU, and they want to help ECU win another championship. So it's always good having them, on my side, and they know me, and they love this school, they love this program, and they can speak from both perspectives as a player and now as a coach.
Coach, you've got some current players that definitely would fit the category of smart, high IQ ball players. Do you think any of the current players on your team might eventually turn into staff members, similar to Mosley and Johnson?
Oh, definitely. I got, Savannah Brooks wants to be a coach. Savannah's probably one of the highest basketball IQ kids I've coached. Been around as a head coach on both ends of the floor. She reads the defenses very well on the offensive end, and then she makes plays herself on the defensive end. She's definitely a two-way player. So she definitely wants to get into coaching. So, we'll see, when she graduates in May, see where it takes her.
Kim McNeill joining us, Turner Home Team Live Line. Got UAB coming up next as the Pirates try to keep it going. 4 in a row. They are 14-6, 6-1 in conference play. Coach, we'll let you get back to work. We appreciate you joining us for a few minutes, and keep up the awesome work. We'll talk to you again later on this season.
Thank you, and go Pirates.
All right, Kim McNeill joining us, Turner Home Team Live Line.